So, you want to get into the world of record collecting. Maybe you've just inherited a box of records from a friend or a family member, or you just want to check out that really cool record shop in your neighborhood. Let's talk about what you need to get before you can enjoy any of those records: a turntable. Now, first, let's talk about the difference between a turntable and a record player. A record player is an all-in-one device, has speakers built in, is pretty much ready to listen right out of the box. Think of the suitcase player that you're familiar with, the Crosley Cruiser. That is a record player. A turntable does not have speakers built in, so it needs to be connected to an external amplification source of some kind, a receiver and speakers, powered monitors, a small battery-operated speaker of some kind that has amplification built in. Now, some turntables have Bluetooth capability, so you can connect them to a Bluetooth speaker. There are purists in the record community that will say Bluetooth and records don't mix. Kind of defeats the purpose of having a record player if you're going to connect it to a Bluetooth speaker. Let's just get away from that for a minute. I don't necessarily agree with that. We're talking about just getting into the hobby here. Everybody starts in a different place, so maybe that is your starting place. But right now, let's just concentrate on turntables. Why not concentrate on a Crosley Cruiser record player? Suitcase players that you see in every big box store, they don't really have the best reputation for sound quality. People say they damage your records. Can you damage a record with a Crosley Cruiser record player? It's possible. It's possible to damage a record with the most expensive turntable that you own. I don't consider the Crosley Cruiser record player the best starting out turntable or record player for the new vinyl collector. Why is that? Because you're pretty much limited. It doesn't sound the best, and it's not upgradable. So as you progress in your hobby of record collecting, you really pretty much have to replace the whole thing right out of the gate. So let's talk about several starter turntables that are great for just about any starting out record collector, that are simple to use and give you a path of upgrade as you progress in your hobby, so you can improve things down the road without having to replace the whole thing lock, stock, and barrel. Now, all three of these are turntables, so you need to connect them to speakers. Now, the thing about a turntable is the sound output that comes out of it is very low, so you will hear that you need a preamp, and that just amplifies the level from the turntable to a level that a regular amp can use. Now, these turntables all have preamps built in. Later on, you might want to have a better preamp as you progress. You can turn these preamps, the built-in preamps, off and use external ones in the future. But for right now, to be dead simple to use, just use the built-in preamps and you'll be fine. So let's talk about three of my favorite starter turntables that are alternatives to the Crosley Cruiser. The first one is probably the most dead simple to use if you're just starting out. It's the Audio-Technica AT-LP60. Now, you do see these at Walmart's, Barnes & Noble, a lot of the mass retail places like that. They might have slightly different model names, especially at Walmart. They might be titled like LP Go or something like that. But essentially, it's kind of a squarish turntable with a dust cover, and it's an automatic turntable. So you put your record on, and you can pretty much hit the button. It moves the arm automatically to start playing the record, and then when it's done, it returns it. Dead simple to use. It's a great starter turntable. Depending on where you get them, what time of year you get them, they can be, $150. It's a great, great starter turntable. Why is it not probably the best starter turntable to use? Well, it doesn't really have some of the features that you would want to get in a better turntable. You can't replace the cartridge, which is the pickup that, the needle plugs into. You might want to upgrade that to a better quality one down the road. You can replace the needles, but not the cartridge. Also, it doesn't have a counterweight to balance and adjust the tracking force. That is something that you might want to be able to adjust down the road. So right now, as a starter turntable, it's a great option, the AT-LP 60. From there, you have some other options. Now I'm going to give you one of my favorites, which is a Crosley. Record purists, don't freak out. Crosley does make good record players. The suitcase players are not, but they do make a line of good record players. So I'm talking about the Crosley C100. Now, there's two versions of this. There's the Crosley C100 and the Crosley C200. The C100, the platter is driven by a motor and a belt. The C200 is driven by a motor without a belt, so it's what they call a direct drive turntable. Which is better? Direct drive is usually definitely considered better, but a belt drive can still be a perfectly serviceable turntable. Now, a Crosley C100 or C200 is kind of a clone of one of the better regarded higher end turntables called the Audio-Technica AT-LP 120. There's also Techniques and other brands that have pretty much the same form factor. So it's a clone. It's not necessarily a better or worse turntable. There are differences. It's more plasticky construction. It's not quite as heavy weight, which, there are benefits to having a heavier weight turntable. But it's a great entry level into that kind of world because you get, an adjustable counterweight, anti-skate. Those are, as you learn more about the vinyl collecting hobby, those are beneficial things to have. But the best thing about the whole Crosley C100, C200 line is you can replace or upgrade the cartridge. Now, I have the C100 and I love it. It's kind of like my secondary turntable. It's up in my living room. It's kind of the family turntable. It's not my daily driver. My daily driver is over here, is the AT-LP 120 from Audio-Technica. Fantastic turntable, but it might be more pricey than you're looking for. The Crosley C100 is a great option. The only thing that I've really had to do to it is it has a slider on it that adjusts the pitch of the sound. And I've had to kind of tweak that just a bit to get the speed of the record all dialed in. And they have little dots on the side of the platter that help you do that. That's for a different video, but apples to apples to the better Audio-Technica turntable, the Crosley C100 is a perfectly good alternative to that, and they go in like the $200 range. Say you want something cheaper than that still. That's still a perfectly good turntable just for starting out. Now, there are a couple that I would recommend that are more in the $100 range. And these would be the Heyday turntable from Target and the Insignia turntable from Best Buy. Now, these often you can get even cheaper, like the Best Buy Insignia turntable I've gotten on sale for like $60. And for $60, even for like the $120, $130 that they're normally priced, you get a hell of a turntable for that amount of money. Now, it's plasticky construction, it's lightweight, it's not going to be an audiophile turntable by any means. You can replace the cartridge and upgrade the cartridge on these. It's not quite as easy as the Crosley or the Audio-Technica LP120, but you can do it, and it does have the adjustable counterweight and anti-skate, so it has the good features that you don't get in a Crosley suitcase player. And they sound fantastic. They come with an Audio-Technica green turntable needle that, is a great turntable needle, and they're easy to replace. They're inexpensive to replace. They're like $49 to replace. And, I've had my Best Buy Insignia turntable for a little while now. I've only used it a handful of times, but, plugging it into my good, Paradigm speakers, it sounds really good. And, if you get it on sale for $60, I mean, you get a couple of them for different rooms in your house. It's a great, inexpensive starter turntable, and definitely one I would recommend. So do you need a big, expensive $400, $500, $600 or more turntable to really get into the vinyl collecting hobby? No. My definite recommendations, all of them are great. The LP60 from Audio-Technica, the Crosley C100 or C200, and the Heyday turntable from Target or the Insignia turntable from Best Buy. These are all great options. Skip right over the suitcase player and go for these. You will not be disappointed, and you can use these for years to come and get great sound from your records. And are you going to damage your records with these? Far less likely, if at all, that you're going to do these compared to a suitcase player. So just jump right into the deep end with a slightly better starter turntable, and you're going to go much farther in your vinyl collecting hobby. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was helpful to you. Enjoy those records. Don't let anybody in the snobby record community get you down. And I hope to see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.